Hey guys, welcome back. Now, Bluetooth headphones have been around for years. I think the very first Bluetooth headset was about 20 years ago. Now, I've never made the change, or at least stuck with the change, to a pair of wireless Bluetooth headphones, even though they have a lot of benefits. Now, the reason for that is because I've never had one where I've been totally happy and satisfied with the sound quality because, well, I'm a little picky when it comes to audio. But now I think I found it. This is the Jabra Elite 85H. Now, before we continue, I just want to say that I did not buy these headphones. Jabra actually very kindly sent it over to me for review. However, this is still an independent review, alright? And the conclusions that I have are my own. Now, my daily driver for headphones for the last 4 years at least has been this. So this is the Sennheiser Urbanite XL. Now, the reason why I stuck with this, and the reason why I say stuck with it because it's still a wired headphones, right? I have not gone for wireless because I absolutely love the sound in this. I'm not saying that it's the best sounding because that's kind of subjective, but in terms of what the sound that I like, this has been the best. So yeah, when Jabra sent this over, I said I'll take a look at it, I'll have a listen. However, my first conclusions were that no, I'm not gonna like it. It's been the same for the last few years. Every time I try a pair of wireless headphones, after a while I realize the sound isn't just as good. So I'm actually gonna do it differently. I'm gonna come up with 5 things that I love about these headphones and 5 things that I don't, alright? So let's go with number 1, sound quality. Now, I've tried my fair share of wireless Bluetooth headphones, hoping for the day that I get one that I like. This one, I would say, is extremely close to my wired headphones in terms of how I like to listen to sound. It has been fantastic. The frequency response of the headphones is relatively flat, which is something that I like. You don't get unnatural boost in your lows, especially a lot of wireless Bluetooth headphones tend to have a bit of a bass boost, which gives you more bass, but it drowns out your mid and your high frequencies. This has been very neutral and I've been very, very happy with it. Number 2 is the build quality, and this is sort of like a 2-part number 2. So yeah, talking about build quality, so you have this sort of like a PU leather cushion for your ears, which is very, very comfortable. You've got the same sort of material for your head cushion here, which is very nice as well. On the outside, okay, so you've got this sort of like a nano coating material here, or rather I say that the material has a nano coating in it, which is supposed to make it water resistant. I've used it on the rain as well, or like when I sweat a lot, and I haven't noticed any issues. It dries out pretty quickly, and yeah, I mean, it has a bit of a weight to it, but I'll talk about why there's a bit of a weight later on. But overall build quality really good. The second part of this number 2 is actually these ear cushions. Now, one thing I liked about my old Sennheiser headphones was that, yeah, it had really good quality. The bad thing about it, the ear cushions didn't last very long. After about 6 months or less, I would have to replace them. Partly due because I tend to perspire a lot. But to replace those with the original one costs, I think, $60 or maybe a bit more, which is ridiculous for just ear cushions. Now this one, and I've confirmed this with Jabra, you can actually replace this and they only cost $29, which maybe might still be a little bit, but it's not as bad as a Sennheiser, and I think with the quality that you're getting with this, I think it's actually worth it. Okay, number 3, which is the ANC, or active noise cancelling. Now, I think a lot of people would say that right now the best ANC is made by Sony, or specifically the 100XM3, I think that's the name. Now, I've actually tried that out as well, and yeah, the active noise cancelling is pretty good. I would say this comes a very, very close second. I've been very impressed with it. I haven't had any issues. Oh, and by the way, I actually used this on a flight to Vietnam with my wife. We went on holiday. I used it on the plane, I used it when we were there, I used it when we came back. And yeah, the biggest test for this is really outdoors. So like on the plane, I didn't have any issues at all. It really blocked out the noise pretty well. Okay, number 4. Number 4, we're gonna talk about comfort. Alright, so this, like I said, has a bit of a weight to it. However, when you put them on, I guess it's distributed pretty well because you don't actually feel it. Like I said, I actually had it on a flight to Vietnam, specifically to Hanoi, and back. Now each way is about 3.5 hours. I had it on almost the entire flight and I didn't have any issues at all. It didn't weigh on me. I didn't feel after a while like it was too heavy. It was totally fine. And number 5 for things I love about these headphones is the battery life. Now, the battery life on this thing is phenomenal. Like I said twice already, I went to Hanoi and all that. So basically, I've had this for about 3 weeks now, and I've been playing around with it. I've used it quite a lot. Now, when I went to Hanoi, like I said, 3 hours there, used it for a few days, and then came back to Singapore. That's another 3.5 hours. It just refuses to die. I used this for 2 weeks and I still had 20% battery life, which is incredible. Now, on the website, Jabra says that it gives about 36 hours of playback, the battery life. However, if you turn ANC on, it's about 30 hours, and I can't say that they're wrong. Now, just to give a bit of an insight on how I use it, apart from the travel, on everyday life, I use it for maybe about 2.5 hours to and fro from work. So you calculate that, after 2 weeks, still no issues. So the battery life in this, I think, has to be one of the best, if not the best. I have been so impressed with the battery life. Okay, and now we're gonna talk about the 5 things that I don't particularly love about these headphones. Now, number 1, well, actually 1 and 2 is something I don't love, but there's a good reason for it, sort of. Okay, so number 1 is we're talking about aptX, or rather the lack of aptX support on these headphones, right? So aptX has been a selling point for headphones for many years. Basically, it's basically a compression thing that helps you to get good audio quality in your headphones. Now, this, like I said, does not have aptX. Now, I don't know this for sure because I haven't actually asked Jabra about this, but my feeling is that it actually doesn't need aptX. Now, the reason for this is that this headphones supports Bluetooth 5, all right? And if your mobile phones support Bluetooth 5, which I think almost every phone this year or maybe even the last supports. Now, Bluetooth 5.0 has an extremely wide bandwidth, so wide to the fact that I don't think you need aptX to help with compression. With the bandwidth that it has, I mean, like I said, I've been listening to it for 3 weeks now, and even comparing to wired headphones, there have been very little difference, and I've been super happy with this. Okay, and the second thing, it is a little bit chunky, although not too much. So if I put it on, all right, so I've got it on now. Man, the ANC is so good, I can't hardly hear anything else. All right, so I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it is a little bit chunky. You can see here the space, so it's quite wide. Now, if you were to compare to other popular headsets like like I said, the Sony 100 XM3, even the Bose Quiet Comfort QC35 or something like that, they're both pretty chunky as well. Maybe the Bose 700 looks a little better, a bit more streamlined, but I think actually it's a pretty okay size, even though, yeah, some people might find it a bit chunky, especially if you don't have a big head as me. But other than that, for me personally, I didn't think it was an issue. Okay, now, and number 3, well, this is not the bad part yet, but Jabra has an app. It's called the Sound Plus app that you can download on your phone, and you can basically configure your headphones from there. Now, specifically what I don't quite like is a feature within the app. So there is a feature called Smart Sound. Well, to explain a bit more about Smart Sound, within the app itself, you have different sort of profiles that you can set for different things that you do during the day. So like when you're on public transport, when you're in a crowd or in public, you can basically set like music profiles, which is basically EQ. And you can also set like whether you want the ANC to be on, or if you want hear through, or do you want ANC totally off. Now, to explain what hear through is, now the Jabra headset actually has a few mics built in as well. And what it does is it actually picks up its ambient sound and plays it in your head. All right, so that is basically hear through. And then of course you got ANC off, which you can switch off, and you hear whatever bleeds through the headphones into your ears. Now, going back to Smart Sound. So Smart Sound is basically what it is. When you turn it on, it uses the mic to pick up its ambient sound and then chooses the profile that best suits your surrounding. Now, I found that to be a bit of a hit and miss. Sometimes it wouldn't pick the best one, and yeah, basically a hit and miss. I wouldn't recommend turning Smart Sound on. Basically configure the profile that you want, and wherever you are, just choose the one that fits you the most. Okay, number 4. Now, I talked about hear through. Now, like I mentioned, what hear through is basically it uses the microphones to pick up the ambient noise and plays it in your headphones. Now, I find it a bit unnatural and I honestly never use it. I don't really like it because when you listen, basically your ears listens to different things at sort of like different volumes, but the mics that it has on the headphones, which is basically condenser mics, it tends to pick everything up at a pretty similar volume. So like when you're walking, if you didn't have your headphones on and you were walking, you probably couldn't hear your footsteps all that well. But when you've got hear through on and you walk, every little thing gets picked up and it's a little unnatural. Which is fine because in most profiles you can switch it off. The problem I have really is when you make a phone call, hear through is on and I can't find a way to disable it. It is so distracting, right? Like I said, I tried to find the call settings. I tried to see if there's a way to turn hear through off, but I couldn't, and I could be wrong about this. So yeah, so when I make a call to someone, a lot of the ambient noise is almost as loud as the person on the other side, which is frankly quite annoying. And I wish there was a way to turn hear through off. Although, having said that, I'm guessing it's maybe a safety feature so that you don't get distracted while you're on the phone. Maybe you might not be paying attention, you might cross the road and not hear something coming at you. So I think that's why they've put hear through on, but I think maybe they need to do a better job of how they pick the ambient noise because it's too unnatural and frankly quite distracting. And the last thing, which is also not really a bad point per se, so it is a little bit expensive, alright? So this Jabra Elite 85H goes for $420, which is your regular retail price. However, on Lazada, you can get it now for about $398. Now, even though it's expensive, in terms of quality, I would say it's right up there with the Sony XM3, the Bose 700, and the Bose is, what, $600? So in terms of its competitors, I would say this is excellent value for money. So in conclusion, I absolutely love these headphones, alright? Like I said, my daily driver for years have been wired headphones, the Sennheiser Urban Eye XL. But yeah, I am switching. This is going to be my daily driver from now on. I think it is a fantastic headphones, built really well. Battery life is phenomenal. I don't know any other headphones that comes close to this in terms of battery life. Good build quality. Like I said, there are some things like the Sound Plus app, the Smart Sound feature is a bit of a hit and miss. I don't like the hear through. I think it needs a lot of work, but overall, still a really good pair of headphones. And this is actually the second product that is gonna get our Technobabble recommended logo. So that about wraps up this review. If you liked it, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.